Let me turn it this way so you got more room. Okay, we're shooting. Good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the start. So what you want to do is just get the initial oval shape down. Place it on the page. And notice the reason I'm sort of drawing other lines above what I just drew is because I'm shifting it. I'm feeling that I want to give myself, so I'm kind of redrawing it already. Down to the chin. Okay. So it doesn't have to be perfect, just a layout, just to get you started. And then the halfway point would be here. And then the middle, so the eyes would be roughly there. And what I do, I just place markers. I try to see the eye socket rather than the actual eye. And what I mean by that, eye socket, so you're kind of drawing larger. So I'm not getting into drawing detail because there's too much to lay out. The nose, okay, if we divide that into another quarter, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably not perfect, but that's okay, just to get started. So the nose would be right about there, and then the mouth would put it right about here. Bridge of the nose over to the eyebrow. Her hairline is really low. See, I like talking through it like this, even if I'm drawing by myself. I'll describe it this way, like, okay, the hairline is running through the upper top of the head with the hair. I'm looking at the shape of it. The ear in this case is lining up with, this is a comparative measurement that I'm taking. The top of the ear is lining up with the bane. So you get that included. And then it stops right about the cheek. So the cheek would be right about here. And if you look at the shadows and the highlights, you can sort of get that into play. The nose. I would avoid trying to make it perfect the first go. Just get it on the page, get some marks on the page, shapes, and then go back through it later and rework it. Because if you spend all your time trying to make something perfect the first go, you're going to overdo it. You're going to probably go darker than it needs to be, and the rest of the drawing is going to suffer. So keep the pencil moving. Work in areas you haven't worked yet. Her upper lip is a little thin, her bottom lip is more puffy. And then there's a shadow off to the side. I just indicate it with hatch marks, and then I can actually define that cheek a little bit better. And then there's the neck that comes into play right about at the mouth. Again, a comparative measurement. The top of her dress runs to the chin, and then there's a, what do you call it, the fold in the button, and then it picks up on the other side, and then that neckline and then shoulder. I like to get some of the shoulder, the neck and shoulder in, so the head is planted. It's not just floating in space. You don't have to do a lot to the clothing. So I haven't even done any erasing yet, so, or much editing at this stage. But notice the charcoal, getting back to the material, the charcoal, you just apply it very lightly. You don't want to get heavy-handed with this. It will, but you can get out of touch with it real fast. I'm always looking at comparisons. Okay, where's this hair, this or sort of sideburn stop in relationship to the eye, and then I can pick up back at the eye.
Can I ask you that question?
Yep.
Placement of the features. The ratios, are they from the hairline, the skull line, or the top of the hair? And if you can't see the top of the skull, how do you imagine or know where the top of the skull is?
Just follow the curvature of the...
So you just imagine it?
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine that it's
Okay.
a circle right here, so you can imagine how that curvature folds back around, and it's got to be there.
Okay.
So that's why it's so important to learn the skull. I mean, got it, it almost fits. So to draw the skull is a good way to learn to draw good portraits, because you got to identify the skeletal structure of the human form to understand it. So if you're only doing the surface, so there's a lot of things when you're learning the portraits, looking at old masters, drawing anatomy, drawing from the anatomy book. Leonardo da Vinci, they all did it. Well, probably worked with actual, history, learning from the skeletal structure, that helps you identify. So when you do go to do portrait work, it's there, you understand it, you can see through, and it helps you lay it out.
When you do the skull first and the hair last?
I get the hair. I mean, I just made a mark where I thought the top of the crown was.
Of the skull?
Yeah, the crown is right here.
Okay.
And then once I have that marked, then I can see how far above that I need to go with the hairline or the hair. The hair is just, kind of fluffy shape, and then go from there. I mean, you and I, people can easily see the top of our head.
Yeah.
Others have, big hair, so you've got to work with that, which is fine. I think the more hair on the head, it's actually easier to draw because it's a wonderful shape, and it identifies the person, and it kind of gives the personality of the person through the hair structure. So identifying the hair as a shape will help you to do good portraits. Okay? So thank you, Jane. Hopefully you get this and you can, hopefully it helps.